Hello, in this video we are going to try to create a 3D shape illusion. So we will use our shapes and we will use custom shapes and simple shapes. We'll overlay shapes, we will create shadows to create a work that shows an illusion of something being three-dimensional. You can see a finished exercise here showing on the screen. So let's start. In Adobe Illustrator, open a new fresh file. Doesn't matter what's the shape, the size of the file. We are going to go over now and start with creating an illusion of the sphere. Choose the main color that you would like to use for this exercise. I think I'm going to go with something green. And choose an ellipse from the tool menu. If you hold Shift, that will lock your proportions, so you will create a perfect circle. So at the moment you can see we've got a circle. It looks very, very flat. So we are going to lay over different shapes on top of that to make it much more three-dimensional. And to create the illusion also, we're going to get rid of the stroke. So select your circle and in your stroke, go to none. So now we get rid of the outline, and we're also going to do that with the rest of the shapes we're going to lay over it. So I'm going to choose a pen tool, and I'm going to start putting shapes that are a bit lighter progressively over and over on top of my circle. So I will first go and change my color to be a bit lighter, like this. You can zoom in a bit, it's a bit more comfortable to work in this way. And I'm going to click and drag to create a shape on the top that's going to imitate a reflection, a lighter reflection of my shape. If you've created a shape and you are not 100% happy with how it looks, go to Direct Selection tool and then you can adjust the anchor points individually to make a shape a bit better. Okay, so I'm happy now. I need few more of the shapes on top of each other, so I'm going to create another 2 or 3 shapes on top in exactly the same way. Okay, so I've got my highlights on the side of my shape. So on opposite side, I will need to create shadows. So I would like to create an illusion that this object is three-dimensional. So I'm going to repeat similar technique, but this time I'm going to go darker in shadow. So with each shape that I create on top of circle, I'm going to make it darker and darker, and I'm doing it on the opposite side in my shape. Okay, so you can see now that having those lighter and darker objects on top of our circle make it look a bit more three-dimensional. So you can compare it, to just an empty circle, and now we've got some reflections on top of it. Of course, you can adjust it a bit. You could spend a bit more time on it if you want to, but this is just an exercise, so remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. No illusion is completed without having a shadow. So at the moment, this looks a bit like a ball that maybe it's like hanging in the air. If we add a shadow, that's going to make it look like this object is actually sitting on top of something. So I'm going to create my shadow in a bit of a different color, maybe something like grayish blue. And I'm just simply going to create a bit of flat ellipse. So that ellipse now, it's on top of my other shape, so I need to move it to the back. I can either arrange it and send it to the back, or I can choose that shape and move it in my stack on the layer. So here we go. That's how we can create an illusion of a three-dimensional sphere. We are going to try to create now a cube. For this, we are going to use rectangle tool, and I advise you when you're building your cube to have a stroke with a dark color, but the fill, I would leave it empty. So I'm going to press shift. I want a perfect square. So here we are. And I will need another square that is exactly the same. So I will just simply Command C to copy it, Command V to paste it. So I'm having now two squares that are identical. I will need to connect them now to create the illusion of a three-dimensional object. I'm going to choose a line and I'm going to connect the corners with the box that it's in front and the box that it's on the back. So now you can see that this drawings looks a bit like a glass build box or maybe an aquarium. So that will help me to actually build a solid box out of it. If the shape it's not transparent, certain lines are not going to be visible in our drawings, and that means that we will need to now create different shapes out of the lines and shapes that we have created. Go to selection tool and select both boxes and all of the lines. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a bit better. And in the tool menu, choose Shape Builder. Make sure that all of the parts are selected first. So with the Shape Builder, you can drag through the areas and connect them, merge them, a bit like with the Pathfinder, but here we've got a bit more easy control. So see that in action. Okay, so if I will click and drag over two or maybe more areas, as soon as I release the mouse, those areas will be connected and they will be changed into one shape. So as you can see now, that area is in one shape that I've created. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly the same with the rest of the areas to create an illusion of solid box. So I've got everything selected, Shape Builder tool, those two areas will need to go together, and those three areas will need to go together. So now all of those areas are solid. And to create an illusion of the box, I'm going to change the colors of those shapes. So I will choose a fill in one color, maybe a purple one. It looks very, very flat now. So the top one, I'm going to make it much, much lighter to implicate that there is a light source on the top. And maybe the one that is in front, I'm just going to make it a medium color tone. Okay. To help with the illusion also, I am going to get rid of my stroke. So I'm going to change it to none. That looks much more three-dimensional already. And I need to finish off by adding a shadow. So I'm going to go to a pen tool, choose a different color, and I'm going to draw a shadow, probably in that way. So I've created now an illusion of a three-dimensional box. So stop the video, repeat the exercise, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!